Live with Ches, we up next. Live with Ches, sports we're best. Live with Ches, live up next. Live with Ches, we're the best. Live with Ches, live up next.
Hello. How everybody is doing? Another good week. Another crazy week that's happening in the sports world. NFL free agency is upon us. Now let's get right into it. The 2024 NFL year begins. The league tampering period is currently going on, and many expect this one to be one of the busiest days of the NFL season has ever had. NFL off season, my bad. And it was definitely a lot of big signings, a lot of crazy signings, and just a lot of surprises. Definitely a lot of surprises. So let's get right into it. Kirk Cousins has agreed to a 4-year, $180 million deal with the Atlanta Falcons, and the contract includes a $50 million signing bonus, $90 million guaranteed over the next 2 seasons, with an additional $10 million guaranteed in 2026 for a whopping $100 million total in guarantees. Kirk got paid, ladies and gentlemen. Kirk got paid. But let me tell you, I gotta be honest, like, I'm very 50-50 with this signing. Kirk was playing at a high level before he got hurt, don't get me wrong, but he tore his ACL, and you definitely have to be cautious when a 35-year-old quarterback is coming back from an ACL injury. The Falcons' O-line is great, top 5. Bijan Robinson shined. Both Drake London and Kyle Pitts had above average seasons, but you could put most of the blame on the QB play. Ritter, Heineke, and Mariota did not perform well. Kirk fits the Falcons pretty well, but I feel like the Falcons overpaid for a quarterback that's probably only going to play decent for like the next 2 seasons. I really thought Atlanta would push for Fields, but I could see why they didn't. He's not proven like Kirk, but Fields is still young and would have more time in the pocket if he joined Atlanta. And he's from Atlanta. Like, he would get that whole home crowd support. You know what I'm saying? Like, just, I'm 50-50. Like, he's a great quarterback, but coming back from that injury, like, Falcons fans would have to pray they don't have a Rodgers and Jets type situation, paying so much money for this old quarterback and he gets injured right away. Like, I don't wish anything bad. This is coming from a Saints fan. I hope Kirk does something decently, but I hope the Saints beat him, though, when we see them. But the Carolina Panthers traded Brian Burns to the New York Jets. The Panthers will receive a 2024 second-round pick and a 2025 fifth-round pick in the deal. As part of the sign and trade, Burns agreed to a 5-year, $150 million deal with the Giants that includes $87.5 million guaranteed. Burns is set to be the second highest paid pass rusher in the NFL. The Seahawks re-signed Leonard Williams. The star defensive lineman agreed to a 3-year, $64.5 million deal to stay in Seattle, according to multiple reports. The Seahawks also re-signed Noah Fant, a 2-year deal worth $21 million. The Packers surprisingly cut Aaron Jones shortly after signing Josh Jacobs to a 4-year, $48 million deal. That's surprising. And it's surprising to me because I felt like Aaron Jones was just Green Bay. Like, he was everything for Green Bay. Great back, but injuries was a problem. He barely played earlier in the season, but he showed out in the postseason, definitely against the Cowboys, and that was surprising to me. But Josh Jacobs is a great running back. I think he will fit well with that team, and I guess new era in Green Bay. Jacoby Brissett is heading back to the Patriots, the team that drafted him. 1-year contract worth $8 million. The Patriots also signed Mike Onwenu, giving the offensive lineman a 3-year deal worth $75 million. The Lions acquired cornerback Carlton Davis. The Lions also got 2 6th-round picks, one in 2024 and one in 2025, from the Bucs for a 2024 3rd-round pick. The Browns are keeping veteran pass rusher Darius Smith. Smith is getting a 2-year, $5 million contract. Leonard Floyd is signing a 2-year, $20 million contract with the San Francisco 49ers. The Raiders are signing quarterback Gardner Minshew to a 2-year, $25 million deal, $15 million guaranteed. That's pretty good. Okay, Gardner, like low key, Gardner had a decent, kind of good season for me. I felt like he was one of the main reasons why the Colts went 9-8, and he showed that he could still be a decent quarterback to lean on. So go ahead, Gardner. I see you. Maybe Devontae will have something to look forward to now after the Raiders haven't really been focusing on offense lately. They've been focusing a lot on defense. Geno Stone left the Ravens to sign with rivals Cincinnati. Stone agreed to a 2-year, $15 million contract with a $6 million signing bonus. Devin Singletary is joining the Giants on a 3-year, $16.5 million contract worth $19.5 million. Xavier McKinney is leaving the Big Apple and signing with the Packers on a 4-year deal worth $68 million. Okay, I see you, X. Former Dolphins guard Robert Hunt is signing a $100 million contract with the Carolina Panthers. O-linemen are getting big bucks this free agency. Now, some really big news. Saquon Barkley is joining his former rivals, the Philadelphia Eagles. The former Giants running back announced the move by posting 2 eagle emojis on his X account. Nasty, just digging inside the Giants' womb, as he should. Stand on business, Saquon. Barkley agreed to a 3-year, $37.7 million deal that's worth up to $46.75 million. This is a slap in the face to the Giants by Barkley, basically saying F you for not paying me and trusting Daniel Jones. Happy for Saquon, glad he got paid. The Eagles are also signing Jets free agent defensive end Bryce Huff to a 3-year, $51.1 million contract. Eagles also re-signed 2-time Pro Bowl guard Landon Dickerson to a 4-year contract extension. The Commanders have signed another former Cowboy. Durance Armstrong agreed to a 3-year contract worth $45 million with Washington. Armstrong had 7.5 sacks in each of his past 2 seasons. So he was a standout for the Cowboys. Might be a hurt loss for the Cowboys, but they got to pay 3 other stars. Rams have agreed to terms with former Lions guard Jonah Jackson on a 3-year, $51 million deal. Defensive tackle Christian Wilkins has agreed to a massive 4-year contract worth $110 million with the Las Vegas Raiders. Wilkins had a career-high 9 sacks last season. Raiders D-line is looking scary. Crosby and Wilkins, but is that enough ammo to stop the likes of Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert? Jacksonville are signing Gabe Davis to a 3-year deal. He'll get $39 million, and the deal can go up to $50 million. I think this is a slight overpay. I think Gabe is a number 2 receiver at best. He had 700 yards and 7 TDs, but big games he just didn't show up. Khalil Shakir shined more to me. Plus, who is the Jaguars' number 1 receiver? Not Christian Kirk. And Calvin Ridley is still a free agent. The Jags have a bunch of number 2s and 3s for wide receivers, no true main target. I would have to give this move a C+ in my opinion. Left tackle David Bakhtiari has been released by the Green Bay Packers. Many are saying he could reunite with Rodgers in New York, but would that be helpful? Bakhtiari can't stay healthy at all. Former Cowboys running back Tony Pollard is expected to sign with the Tennessee Titans, a deal expected to be 3 years worth $24 million. What does that mean for the Cowboys backfield? The draft seems to be the main goal, I guess, but they got to pay CD, Micah, and Dak, and that's going to take a lot of money away from them, so they're going to have to focus on the draft. Former Texans pass rusher Jonathan Grenard is signing a 4-year, $76 million deal that includes $42 million guaranteed with the Vikings. Grenard had a breakout season last season. That might be a little bit of a big loss on defensive end for the Texans, but Vikings got a good pass rusher. The Bears signed DeAndre Swift, and the deal is worth $24 million and is 3 years. The Colts re-signed their number 1 wide receiver, Michael Pittman Jr., to a 3-year, $70 million deal with $46 million guaranteed. Josh Downs carving up the middle, Alec Pierce deep threat, and the number 1 receiver re-signed. Colts got weapons, and they just need AR and Jonathan Taylor to stay healthy. Drama in Cincinnati, folks. T. Higgins wants out of Cincy and requested a trade. Higgins is disappointed with the lack of attention on a contract extension. Cincinnati recently franchise tagged Higgins for $21.8 million for next season. And also Joe Mixon, after running for 1,000 yards again, was released by the Bengals. Is the Bengals offense in trouble? Possibly after losing 2 key pieces in their offense? Since he did sign Zach Moss as a replacement, 2-year, $8 million deal. Zach did pretty good when Jonathan was out, so let's see if he can carry that load that Mixon is leaving. Chiefs star defensive tackle Chris Jones got paid. Jones agreed to a 5-year deal worth $158.75 million, including the first 2 years guaranteed $30 million signing bonus, and he deserves it. He was a force, and he's just that dude for Kansas City, and I'm glad they re-signed him because they need him. Darnell Savage, a former first-round pick for the Green Bay Packers, is leaving, and he will sign with the Jacksonville Jaguars, a 3-year deal. Austin Eckler leaves LA and signs with the Washington Commanders, 2-year deal worth $11.4 million. Cornerback Chidobe Awuzie agreed to a 3-year deal with the Tennessee Titans. Chargers signed Gus Edwards to a 2-year deal, and he will replace Eckler. Texans re-signed Noah Brown. Saints extend Demario Davis for 2 more years worth $17.5 million. Old veteran, but still balling for the Saints. Colts extend linebacker Zaire Franklin to a 3-year deal worth $31.2 million. Franklin showed out and earned his money last season. Baker got paid. Baker Mayfield led the Bucs to a playoffs and also won a playoff game. That earned him a 3-year deal worth $115 million and includes a $50 million guaranteed. Finally, Russell Wilson signed with the Steelers to a 1-year deal worth $1.2 million, and I think this is a great fit for Russ, back with a defensive-minded head coach that knows how to win. Steelers have good weapons. Deontay Johnson can turn up the heat when he wants to. George Pickens is a dog. We all know this. Najee needs to prove a little more for me. He sneakily ran for over 1,000 yards, but he looked more like a star that he should be towards the end of the season. But Jaylen Warren is a good back. He's a really good back. I don't trust Arthur Smith at all. He didn't do anything with the Falcons, 7-10 all over again. But he did a great job as an OC with the Tennessee Titans in the past. Crazy free agency period, folks. Crazy so far, and there's more news coming in the next few days. Now let's get to draft needs, and today we're talking in the AFC South. Texans, let's start there. Adding more depth to the O-line would be beneficial. Same goes for the wide receiver chart. Tank and Nico are ballers. Noah Brown was great, but he had knee issues. A decent number 3 wouldn't hurt. Edge rusher is also a need after losing some key pieces in free agency. I wouldn't be surprised if the Texans are desperately looking for a running back after not getting Saquon and losing Devin Singletary in free agency. Colts need to find depth on the edge and have maybe some ideas about safeties. Also, cornerback would be super helpful also, especially when you got to deal with quarterbacks like CJ and Trevor. Even Will Levis and a healthy DeAndre Hopkins could maybe start some trouble for them if they don't pay attention to their DBs. Drafting a tight end to be a safety blanket for AR would also be beneficial whenever he doesn't have anywhere to go, and so he can stop just taking off and running and not sliding, keeping him healthy. The Jaguars need to fill in holes all around the team. They're still a good team, but they need more impact players. Like I said earlier, drafting a true number 1 receiver would be helpful in a big way, and this draft has a lot of number 1 potential. At cornerback, the Jaguars have good starters, but they need a slot corner. Depth in O-line would be super beneficial. Trevor was beaten and got hurt again last season. Josh Allen is definitely staying. They're definitely going to give him money, but they need more depth at pass rushers. Now, finally, the Tennessee Titans. Man, the Titans are in a complete rebuild in my mind. Levis seems to be their guy under center, but only have a couple weapons. Tajay Spears, Tony Pollard, DeAndre Hopkins, and Chikozim Okongwu. They need another wide receiver to complement D-Hop. Treylon Burks is officially a bust, and Chris Moore was somewhat reliable, but not enough. They need someone who can take the top off and take eyes off D-Hop. Linebacker is also an issue after losing Alshire in free agency. DBs is the biggest need in my eyes. Cornerbacks and safeties are desperately needed for the Titans, especially having to deal with the Texans wide receivers, possibly the Jaguars wide receivers if they get a number 1, and the Colts wide receivers, obviously. So that's going to be all, folks. That's what I think every team in the AFC South needs, and hope you enjoyed this. Please tell me what you think. Like and subscribe, and it's been Live with Ches.
Live with Ches, we're the best. Live with Ches, live up next.